Jaganatha LE. We're in the top right-hand corner map, spotting all the way in the top right-hand corner. The red Protoss player coming down for the land of China. He, of course, is going to be representing his clan Starlight Twinkle. He is ReWhite.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Jaganatha LE, we have the Chinese Protoss player. He is blue, representing himself. It is Jieshi.
And I say this is going to be our final PvP, but it's also going to be our first, funnily enough. We are going down the entire list of Protoss matches tonight.
That we are. There's plenty of Protoss in this region. Of course, this isn't the first PvP of the night in general, as they did just have one over on the mainstream, so Jieshi is quite warmed up here. He did not end up losing against Cyan, but it was still a very close series. Very much longer macro-focused games, all three of them.
Definitely. Now, from skimming that mainstream, I actually did think that there were a couple of times where Jieshi could have taken it 2-0, but it just felt like as the series went on, Cyan tightened up his play more and more, and we'll see if that's going to be the case here on when it comes to ReWhite versus Jieshi.
Yeah, I think the great thing about ReWhite is that in his series against Time, he did show like his potential to be aggressive, and that is definitely something that you need in PvP, right? Like, it's such a dynamic matchup, there's so much that can be going on. It's just that there's just so much available to you as a Protoss player, just that you can just whip out.
Yeah, you definitely need that sense of courage to say, I'm gonna pull the trigger right now, and I'm gonna commit. And that's why Trigger, he's one of the top NA Protoss players.
Why did you point out Trigger?
Because I said Trigger. I'm gonna pull the trigger, and then for some reason my brain associated it. Because
shake him. I mean, you're not wrong. You know, Trigger. He's in the DreamHack main event, and he's doing pretty well. You know? Yeah. I think he went to the ace match against Scarlet today.
Oh,
yeah.
It's definitely exciting. I haven't seen this in a while when it comes to PvP. Robo Facility versus Stargate.
That's a very interesting location for the Robo as well. Obviously this location is because it was a probe in the main base, so because of this, Jieshi actually wasn't able to scout the tech whatsoever. Same with the additional pylon, so we do see Jieshi scouting the edges of the map in case there's a proxy Stargate or something going on. Unfortunately, he's unaware of this very exposed but very hidden Robo.
Hiding right in plain sight. It's insane how well hidden it is. Because you think about it, Protoss doesn't have Reapers.
Yeah.
Jieshi's not going to be sending anything to that Reaper ramp.
Exactly. So far, we just see a bit of a back and forth between the Stalkers. Jieshi coming out a little bit on top. He himself went for the Stargate opening, and like along the lines of what you just said, you know, we don't see this too often. Robo versus Stargate. It's been quite some time.
It really has. Now, typically when it's proxy Robo versus proxy Stargate, I want to give the advantage to the Robo player. They're just going to be able to get Immortals out across the map a lot quicker. But in this case, where they're both building their tech back at home, I feel like Jieshi can do a lot with these Stalkers.
Yeah, that he
or not
can.
Stalkers, sorry, yeah. Oracles, there we go.
Meanwhile, Jieshi is playing this a little bit scared here. After the initial Oracle, he's investing even further and going for a Void Ray again to secure his bases. Meanwhile, the Oracle gets called out!
And that's why I mentioned the Stalkers from Jieshi, because ReWhite Stalkers completely shut down Jieshi's harass. Everything is going ReWhite's Ray. He even has this Immortal he can push on through. There are a couple of shield batteries here. I'm not convinced ReWhite can really break that, but he has the map control at the very least.
Yeah, again, like, this Void Ray is definitely paying for itself here. Like, with the power of the Void Ray and a second one on the way, Jieshi will be able to defend 100%.
That was the second Oracle. I feel like ReWhite
may
have just won then and there. But yeah, Jieshi doing the safe, sensible thing keeps him alive.
Exactly. This keeps him alive, but it also sets him back a little bit, you know? The Void Rays in PvP, their one goal is to bolster the army in defense. They don't really do much harassing across the map, so they don't have too much versatility. Meanwhile, ReWhite has to be careful, doesn't want to overextend with his War Prism.
Yeah, already losing one of his Stalkers. The Ancient Stalker, at least, but So losing a unit a little bit unnecessarily there. ReWhite wants to commit to this, by the way. He's sending sentries out. He's getting his tech. Okay. Does back away now. I thought for a sec he wanted to contain Jieshi on 2 bases for as long as possible.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. But once the Void Rays and the Stalkers are moving out, ReWhite doesn't want to overstay his welcome. He is looking to shade in with his Adepts, and he will commit to the shade. How many workers will he get? He gets 1. Oh.
It's all about the target firing. Oh, not quite there. Shield battery will mean that Jieshi keeps most of his probes alive.
Exactly, and look at how terrified Jieshi was, by the way. 3 shield batteries and a triangular faction around the Nexus. Like, he did not want to die.
But he may, as the Dark Shrine is about to finish up. Does Jieshi have any detection? His robo facility is only halfway done. He has that Stargate, but again, that Oracle got sniped very, very early on in this game.
Exactly, and like, I hope that he pulls the trigger soon, because the scary thing about this robo and the Stargate, it is all powered by 1 pylon. So
and he scouts that 1 pylon with his halloum.
He does. This guy
can see it so clearly.
Exactly, the DTs are sneaking in. If Jieshi notices the shimmer, he will be able to force field the ramp and keep the DTs outside of his main base, but that's a big if. We'll see how the DTs go, as at the same time, the Void Rays actually get across the map.
Yeah, but as you said, the Void Rays aren't really the scariest. Harassment Tomb, Guardian Shell is going to keep a lot of them alive. The DT is getting the mineral line. Is he going to get that pylon? Is he going to get that pylon?
He wants.
Probably wouldn't be able to.
He wants workers, mate, as he does one-shot each and every single one of the probes. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, the Void Rays are trying to do what they can, but as we see, they can't really fight toe-to-toe against these Stalkers, so one of them gets focused down. We do have a recall, and in the end, the DTs are still not dealt with.
Yeah, surprisingly, 15 probes go down versus 7 of ReWhite. That's kind of an important note, 16 even. But it is kind of important to note that despite that count on the workers lost, Jieshi isn't too far behind.
Yeah,
Now
I
he
mean,
kind of is.
at least he was able to do something with his Void Rays, right? Like, as we were pointing out, like, if it wasn't for that, he would be miles behind. So, thankfully, he was able to deal some counter damage. Again, these Void Rays, they can still find some value, especially if they're able to hunt down this War Prism. That's currently what they're trying to do. They're trying to find it somewhere. So, maybe they can at least stop that. Oh boy, as he is not taking a 3rd base, he's instead going for a robo. I mean, sorry, going for a War Prism.
Well, he's lost this many workers.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't like his chances of coming back from this game. I have to wonder how much getting those 3 shield batteries set him behind.
Exactly. Like, that was a big investment to defend against an attack that never came. Like, oh god, like the shield batteries, the Void Rays as well. Meanwhile, ReWhite, he's getting away with this. Like, the 3rd base is almost done. This is scouted by Jieshi, so now he has to make a decision. Is he going to try and catch up, or is he going to go all in?
Well, ReWhite, meanwhile, has freedom to do both. He so desires, but couldn't quite get damage with that DT. And he sees that Jieshi's decision is, I am gonna have to at least do equalizing damage. I don't necessarily want to all in, but I want to be able to get myself on even footing.
Yeah, it's one of those, he doesn't want to all in, but he has to. Because he's not making any more probes. He's looking to try and set up his 3rd just in case, but now it is all on ReWhite. He has 1 shield battery, he has an overcharge. I don't know if what...
Keep it alive! Very good force fields! But I have to wonder if... That's actually just allowing ReWhite to buy himself a little bit more time. Jieshi rotating around. That shield battery is not in range. The army is caught outside of range of any shield battery right now, and it is much larger for Jieshi.
Exactly, and ReWhite notices that he does back off within shield battery range. We have the overcharge. The Immortal does not die, and with that, we have additional warpins coming in. Oh, Jieshi, he's running out of steam.
He really is. I thought for a second Jieshi had this engagement, but 3 Immortals Light. They are going to town on all these Stalkers. The Stalkers of ReWhite take out the Void Rays of Jieshi. It looks like ReWhite is going to take game number 1. Yeah,
exactly. He crushes the army. GG gets called, and ReWhite takes the 1st game.
What a fantastic start for him.
Yeah.
Wow. First time in the playoffs, takes a game off of time, and now takes a game off of Jieshi. Jieshi could still reverse sweep from here, but it's still an incredible debut showing from from ReWhite.
Definitely, definitely. As you were saying, like, bearing in mind, ReWhite, it's his first time here in the playoffs, in the top 8 of his own region, and he's even able to take a lead against one of the favorites. Or I don't know if I would say favorite, but you know, one of the players who has consistently been here in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, Jieshi has made it to the finals a couple of times, so yeah, I would say a favorite here.
Definitely, definitely. So really well done there by ReWhite. We'll see if he can keep up this momentum, because for what we saw in that game, like, like he was well in control almost the entirety of that game.
It's the Robo, I'm telling you. No, I mean, the Dark Shrine definitely helped quite a bit. I don't know what it was, but ReWhite was just really able to put the fear in Jieshi. No, now I know what it is, thinking back. It was sniping that Oracle so early on. Jeshi's like, oh lord, he has map vision. How did he know the Oracle was going to be there? I have no map presence now because I went for Void Race after my Oracle. I gotta stay at home, man. Yeah,
exactly. It just all fell from there. He wasn't able to scout the opening either. You know, he wasn't able to see the Robo because of that. Like, he was just, again, like, he didn't know what was out there. He was so blind throughout the majority of that game. And yeah, ReWhite's in complete control, and now he only needs one more. Meanwhile, Jieshi is in a really rough position right now. You were saying that he's made it to the finals before. He's made it to that playoff bracket. But now he's one game away from being eliminated.
He really is. I'm hoping this is going to be where he... this is going to be that kick he needs to really start to tighten things up. Because in his initial series, it did seem like it was the other way around when it was him versus Cyan. Cyan dropped the first map, and from there he really tightened things up.
Ooh, definitely. As it looks like we are just making the second lobby here. Here we go. Beautiful.
I'm surprised you're able to navigate with all the mansion.
Fun fact.
Sometimes they're like, oh, I'll just invite the players. I'm like, I don't know which button to click.
We've been doing this for a year now. Like, I know, I don't know what the buttons mean, but I know what they do.
Well, that's more than I could say for myself.
All good, mate. All good, as we are just setting.
What does this button do?
Oh no! Don't do it! Don't do it, Yaku! Don't do it! Oh god, as we are just setting
this
things.
Button unsolves the game.
Unironically, I have accidentally clicked the close game button before, and I'm pretty sure you have as well.
So have I. So have I.
Oh god, it's a terrifying moment when that happens.
I've done that on the normal client when it was in English.
Oh god. Shaking my head, shaking my head.
I'm great with languages, what can I tell you?
You're the best, mate. You're the best. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. As we are diving into game numero dos, number 2, here we go. It is going to be on Romanticide.
That it is. We're here in the top left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner. We have the blue Protoss player in his debut match. He is only one game away from taking out a former finalist. Is he going to be able to do it? Representing Starlight Twinkle, he is ReWhite.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the Chinese Protoss player representing himself, one game away from being eliminated. Can he bring it back? It is Jieshi. Oh boy.
I'm waiting for the proxy.
Right? Like, ReWhite has the room for it, and we're on Romanticide, which is the largest map in the map pool. There's plenty of locations to throw down a proxy pylon. At the same time, there's arguments like for either one, right? You know, does he want to risk it? You know, does he want to give his opponents an opportunity to get back into this game?
He definitely does. And we can play loose.
True. So we'll see. As so far, Jieshi immediately he rushes across the map to scout his opponent again, just in case there is a proxy. Meanwhile, ReWhite, he's taking his time. You know, he's a little bit more chill, a little bit more lax.
Yeah. Pressure's off him. He's already up 1, and I mean, he was able to win a pretty standard game against Jieshi. I mean, aside from sort of hiding that robo facility,
I
he pretty
love,
much just took it to him.
yeah, I love how the state of PvP is that you say that that was a standard game when there were like DTs and there was like the hidden robo and all this like nonsense going on. It's like, yeah, standard PvP, yeah.
Yeah. You mean you don't see that every other PvP? I mean,
It's
yeah,
true.
we've been spending enough time on the NA server, man.
It's very true. It's very true. We've had a lot of PvPs recently, especially on NA, and every single PvP series has at least one Dark Shrine. Usually 3 if it goes to the Ace match.
Sometimes 2 in a single map.
That's 100%. Sometimes they DT each other. It happens.
Yeah. Neither of them getting detection. It's great.
Oh god.
I've yet to see that, but I'm long for the day where 2 Protoss players go Dark Shrine, no form of detection, and they can't get detection either. Because their middle lines are both eviscerated.
That
by
would be
DTs.
the most insane base trade we've ever seen. It'd be beautiful.
It's like, I gotta right click harder.
Oh god. But yeah, we'll see if we get that. We'll see, as ReWhite is currently being the aggressor, making 4 adepts in total, looking to try and slip past the defenses of Jieshi. Meanwhile, Jieshi, a little bit more defensive. He still went for the adepts, but has his own stalkers to ward away the initial 2 of ReWhite.
Yeah, getting 2 sentries behind us as well, so just trying to play as reactive as possible. Still getting a bunch of shield batteries, which is actually going to help him out a lot more this time, as ReWhite is going to be the player going for oracles first.
Yes, exactly. Because of this safe play from Jieshi, the Oracle shouldn't deal too much damage, but it can always throw down a stasis, and if it stays alive, it'll be vital for scouting your opponent as well as that detection. Oh,
I think we're all just working with the assumption that eventually you're going to need detection to PvP. And you will.
you
to
will.
be fair.
Yeah.
Even
yeah.
if not for DTs, then for observers at least.
Exactly, exactly. Meanwhile, nicely done by ReWhite. He returns back home. He already snipes and deals with 1 of the adepts. The other one is able to escape for now. But as we say this, the Oracle is zooming across the map, looking to try and find some economic damage.
Doesn't quite find it. But
Yeah.
we'll at least be able to scout Jieshi.
Yeah, no, he picks off 1 probe out of nowhere, so nicely done. Is able to escape. And with that, we'll be able to be kept alive to dive in at another point.
That it will. Only going to be a single Oracle from ReWhite this time.
Yeah.
As he transitions more towards a gateway-focused army. We're going to get some classic Stalker v Stalker battles.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting that he opted not to do anything else with this Stargate. Meanwhile, ReWhite continuing to check his opponent. But yo, Jieshi is already ready here. Some lost mining time. But oh my god, he goes to the sentries.
And he is able to get them. That might actually be a huge boost as the game goes on. Less Guardian Shells, less Halukes, less Scouting. Now, an Observer is going to be able to make its way across the map for Jieshi, but, I mean, that just eats into your supply.
It really does, and oh my, I'm just so impressed with what just happened here. Because of that, 2 sentries, 3 probes, and a bunch of lost mining time. That was beautifully done by these adepts. On top of that, the adepts survived, and now they're looking to dive back in.
Yeah, Jeshi's feeling a little bit of pressure to deal some damage across the map. Doesn't necessarily need to do so, but he hasn't really been able to get an idea of what ReWhite is doing aside from that initial Stargate. For all he knows, ReWhite's going for a quick third, and he's going to eclipse him on the probe production.
Exactly. I mean, he already kind of is. Jieshi is, of course, rebuilding the workers that he's losing. At the same time, third base gets thrown down, but ReWhite is there to scout it.
Indeed, he is.
Up.
And now Jieshi. Oh no! 1 more hit! 2 more hits! Or potentially 3, I think. Yeah, from single stalker it will be 2 or 3 more.
Oh my god. Yeah, ReWhite is just barely able to escape. Jeshi's being a little bit aggressive across the map, but there are plenty of stalkers here for ReWhite. There shouldn't be too much of an issue. Thankfully, ReWhite does have Blink. He's able to escape.
Just backs off, and that third base of ReWhite is prime target for these Stalkers harass. They can always blink through the mineral field.
That they can. So they're going to do whatever they can to get whatever value they can to keep ReWhite at home. The big advantage that Jieshi had for the longest time was Blink, but now enough time has passed where ReWhite has caught up and he has his own Blink, and +1 is so much further ahead.
It is. That's such a big surprise. Considering Jieshi was the player to decide, you know what, I'm going to focus on gateway units, my ground army. He was the first player to decide that. ReWhite, though, took a little bit of time to get there.
Yeah. Again, a lot of that did have to do with the economic damage that was being done. Like, it delayed so much from Jieshi because he didn't have the resources he needed. Meanwhile, he just blinked straight into the main base.
Fortunately, that won't be in Artosis pylon, but he may be able to get the other pylon. Just focus it down, Jieshi. You're going to be able to slow things out so much. Instead, goes for the mineral line, gets a couple of probes, and backs off. Doesn't want to overstay his welcome.
Yeah, exactly. At the same time, we have a couple of adepts in the natural base, but there are stalkers to defend, so ReWhite is doing a decent job defending, but oh my god, 10 workers end up going down.
That is the damage that Jieshi wanted to get to equal things out. I say equal things out. He's ahead over almost 10 workers right now.
Exactly. Basically the amount of workers that he was able to kill. So nicely done there by Jieshi. As you were saying, like, he was having a pretty rough start to the game, so it's crucial that he was able to deal that counter damage. And with that, ReWhite doesn't have like the army that he needs to really utilize that timing with +1. So instead, he waits. He's biding his time for +2.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask if it was too late to get that damage done, because ReWhite, his upgrades are finishing up quite a bit quicker than Jieshi, as we pointed out, but looking at his army, it's mostly Stalkers. He only has a single Immortal, so yeah, Jieshi was able to get in, do a ton of damage before ReWhite was really ready to reciprocate. I'm saying re a lot in that sentence. It's a real tongue twister, let me tell you. I'm going back to almost saying rewrite every time I say ReWhite.
It's happened before. It has happened. Oh god. I'm just looking at ReWhite to see if he does end up using this timing. Charge just finished up, by the way, as well as a couple of gateways that are about to finish up as well. So with that, maybe he can try and hit a timing. I'm emphasizing this just because Jieshi is skipping Charge Archon. He's going straight into Disruptors, and that is going to work beautifully against the composition that ReWhite is going for. So that's kind of a danger for him.
Absolute man of culture he is. Blink Disruptor versus Charged Archon.
Yeah.
Not really sure who to favor. I guess it really does come down to control at the end of the day.
Exactly. There is obviously a world where the Disruptors get exposed and the Charged Alts close the distance and they get on top of them. There's also a world where a Disruptor shot goes off and it connects with all the Zealots, and that's it. So, yeah. Oh boy.
Archons just lose their entire buffer, but, well, we shall see.
That we shall, as Jieshi is again applying a little bit of pressure with his Stalkers. I don't think he's really looking to commit here. It'd be a mistake as well, because the army advantage is in favor of ReWhite, but at the same time Jieshi is just keeping him at home and buying enough time for those Disruptors.
Yeah, just seeing what he can get done. I mean, I think it might even be ideal if he loses a couple of Stalkers, just to have a little bit more supply for either Immortals or Disruptors.
Yeah, that could be the case. Meanwhile, ReWhite is looking to try and catch up. I don't believe he has scouted the Disruptors yet, but again, he does need to get them cranked out as soon as possible, as Jieshi is diving in once again, catching ReWhite a little bit out of position.
Yeah, look at his sandwich, at least when it comes to the harass. The Warpers are going straight for the main base. The Adepts are here to get brilliant eyes on everything that Jieshi is building, and lots of damage in this mineral line.
Yeah, exactly. I love the way he's utilizing these Adepts, by the way. You don't see Adept harass this late into the game too often, but because he doesn't have charge lots, he's got to do something, and with this, he does kill 11 probes.
ReWhite kept down once again. He was actually able to catch back up with Jieshi a little bit earlier on, but now, no such thing.
Exactly. Meanwhile, once again, another probe gets picked off here or there. The Disruptors are finally joining the battle. Jieshi wants to go now. Behind this, both players do have their forts up and running, but Jieshi is the one with the Purification Novas.
And the Haluk Colossus.
Ooh, here we go. Once again, where's the army? Oh my god!
Not at all in position. ReWhite thought Jieshi was going to do, the standard thing and reposition and rotate that army. Instead, he decides to commit. The Disruptors are super exposed, though. Both of them get taken out, I think, before the Purification Nova lands.
That they do.
And just
Meanwhile,
like that, ReWhite is back in this fight.
yeah, he is definitely back in this. The Immortal of Jieshi is going to get picked off. Same with the last remaining Disruptor. And then it's going to be pure Blink Stalker for Jieshi and Immortals for ReWhite.
Yeah, still a Stalker left here for ReWhite, or Disruptor I should say, but it does get sniped by Jieshi. I think Jieshi has just about done it now. Got a ton of momentum on his hands. GG is called. Jieshi ties up that series sideways 1-1.
Wow, GG. I feel like in game number 1 on Jagannath, we saw ReWhite really like dictate the pace of that game. Here in game number 2, ReWhite was really struggling to keep up with Jieshi.
Really was. Jieshi had some very fantastic use of multi-prong harass, really picking apart ReWhite, making him unsure of where it was coming from. I don't think either player had too much map vision in that game.
They really didn't, or at least ReWhite didn't, because he just almost never had eyes on the army of Jieshi, and because of that, we saw time and time again, he was just never where he needed to be. As soon as he left that third base, Jieshi would just dip in, get a couple workers here and there, get a couple of pylons here and there, maybe a shield battery or two, and that really did add up over time.
Absolutely. Imagine a game where all that harass didn't happen, right? They look to be about even-ish towards the end. If ReWhite didn't take all that damage, he would have been miles ahead.
He really would have, and oh boy, I just don't know how this series is gonna go, mate.
Yeah, it really has been one of the more unpredictable series we've had here tonight. We had Time versus ReWhite earlier today, and that did go all the way to the ace match, but there really wasn't any doubt Time was gonna take it. These two games so far have shown that ReWhite, our newcomer, can absolutely take it to a DreamHack finalist.
Exactly, and we'll see how the chips fall here in the final PvP of the night.
Yeah, I believe overall it's the final. Yeah. At least for China. Yeah. As we conclude this series here on Oxide LE, we're in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have the blue Protoss player coming out for the land of China, making his debut in a DreamHack Masters. He is going to be representing Starlight Twinkle. It's ReWhite.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the red Protoss player hailing from the land of China. It is Jieshi. Let's go!
You love to see it, risking it all here on the ace match.
Oh my god.
This is why I'm rooting for ReWhite. Double gate!
You triple
gate?
Mate,
4 gate?
give us 4. Give us 4, buddy. Do it. As Jieshi's going for a probe scout, thankfully he's going to be delayed a little bit here at the natural base. Oh no, but he goes straight into the main base. He's going to scout that there is nothing at home and that there are no gases being taken.
That's it. ReWhite has to react right now. He has to throw down shield batteries, maybe the cannon as well. What?
Mate, with that pylon block, it's going to force the wall to be a little bit awkward here.
Yeah, I gotta be real honest. I thought for a sec ReWhite somehow had a pylon up here and threw down his own forge, but no, that was Jeshi's forge. And yeah, I was gonna say Jeshi really does need to react right now because 2 zealots are already on the way, 3 zealots are already on the way. Versus the 1 gateway production of Jieshi.
Yeah, exactly, but it's not just 1 gateway. The forge is about to finish up for Jieshi. He's going to be able to start some pylons here. Oh god, and pylons behind this thick wall is going to be an amazing defense. Jieshi needs to start working through this wall as soon as possible.
He really does. Is that cannon in range of the northern pylon? I want to know.
That is the question as the Zealots are working their way through the first pylon. It looks like the pylon's going to go down, but can they get on top of that cannon? Oh, we have a secondary wall behind this. Super
important to have here. Cannon does finish up, but now the Zealots are already in position. One Zealot of ReWhite is getting really, really low. That Adept really helping out a ton. Jieshi controlling as best he can. But that Adept is about to get surrounded. The cannon is getting surrounded.
Yeah, the cannon.
That's most of the firepower.
Exactly, the cannon goes down. We only have one Adept. The second Adept is still on the way. It only just now started. The rest of the Zealots are going to be able to come in. I love this though. Jieshi, he walls off the pylon.
He does, surprisingly. But he depowers the gateway light.
The gateway, it does get depowered. Meanwhile, ReWhite, he still needs to work through this pylon. He's working through it from one end. The rest of the Zealots, they are needed so desperately. The gateway gets repowered.
They got supply capped for a little bit earlier on, and now I think Jieshi might have just done it. Oh, the Adept is in range. Is it in range? It is in range.
Yeah, it is indeed in range. The second Adept comes out. With the second Adept, I believe that is going to be it for the aggression of ReWhite. The pylon, sure, it goes down. But there's another pylon behind this. We got the Adept working on all of this as well. And there is no transition from here from ReWhite.
Do I still want to hold some hope in my eyes here, Light? Because ReWhite can still continue to produce Zealots. He's going to get supply cap pretty soon.
Yeah.
The other Adept is across the map, and it will be able to deal a lot of damage, but the cannon finishes up. GG is